Thanks, Gregor. This question would be for Blake. If it's a fresh start, 16 teams have the same chance. If at the end of the day you guys have a ton of playoff success, why will that have been?
We have a good goalie, some good firepower up front, a lot of really responsible defensemen back there that move well, move the puck well, and so we got a lot of confidence in our group.
We'll go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Thanks, Gregor. Hey, Blake. We see Nikolaj Ehlers back out there and Andrew Kopp, but in particular with Ehlers, how much of a big difference could he make coming into this series, especially with his speed and against a speedy team like Edmonton?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most dynamic players in the NHL. Certainly playing against some dynamic players in Edmonton. He's a big part of the pulse of our team. I mean, he gives us a shot of energy every night. Especially in the playoffs where goals are tougher to come by, to have a guy that can kind of create offense every shift and make things happen out of nothing. Nicky's a big part of what we do, so we've definitely missed him, and whenever that time comes, we'll look forward to getting him back.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Gregor, and good morning, Blake. The first one for you. Numbers are what they are, so there's no sense in beating a dead horse there. But and I don't know if you've watched video or not, but if you have, or if you can remember, what kind of adjustments need to be made, Blake, when your line is out there against Edmonton's top 2 or 3, and are those adjustments very doable?
I think that we need to, play our game. I think you're speaking about Connor, in particular, and obviously Leon too. Those are 2 pretty unique guys. So yeah, you have to be cognizant of when 2 of the best, if not the best, players in the league are on the ice at the same time. But at the end of the day, we can't play 5 guys in front of the net and not try to play hockey. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's no secret that they've had some success against us. We've had a tough time, but that's in the past. So to answer your question, what adjustments do we need to make? I'm certainly not going to tell you any adjustments we're going to make, but I think that, there are some areas we can definitely be better. And I mean, we're going to give it our all, see what happens. 7-game series and see how it shakes out.
We'll go back to Kelly Moore for a follow-up. Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, and this one for Connor. Can you boil it down to you versus Mike Smith? Connor, does that ever enter into your way of thinking as you prepare for this series?
It can a little bit for fun, but this is a team game, and there's a lot of guys in front of me that do a lot of great things. So, I mean, it's going to be like Blake was saying, it's a game of hockey. You got to play, and chances are going to be different at both ends, and we're looking to come up top of that.
We'll go next to Ken Weaver from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Thanks, Gregor. This is for Connor. Connor, what's the biggest thing you've taken from your past playoff experience that you can take into this series?
When I think back, I just think of how easy energy was to come by, especially early in a series. You get those nerves going and get the emotions going, and everyone is buzzing. Everyone's bringing their A-plus game. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to play that kind of style of hockey. It's going to be grind, and it's going to be fast, and it's going to be fun.
We'll go back to Ken Weaver for a follow-up.
For Blake, please. Blake, you touched on goaltending. What does it mean to have who you guys consider to be the best goalie in the world as you enter these playoffs?
It gives us a chance every night. That's kind of been our MO here for the last handful of years. Regardless of how bad we could throw a stinker out there, we got a chance with 37 in the net. So that's where our confidence starts. I mean, he's a very confident guy in his game, and he gives us a ton of confidence back there.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Afternoon, guys. This one's for Connor. Connor, you won the Vezina last year, and you talked about the importance of what that trophy meant to you, but that your ultimate goal is for another trophy. So fresh start, clean slate here, and what does this opportunity mean, I guess, to you personally, going into another playoff?
Well, honestly, it's all I think about. It's all I got left to go for. Being with this group of guys, and we've been growing together for the last couple of years, and there's no better team that I would want to celebrate this with. And I know it's gonna be a lot of hard work, but I'm really excited for that, because once you get to the end of it, you look back and you can really cherish all those hard games and those tiny moments that don't seem like much at the time, but they are big moments. So I'm looking forward to those tiny, big moments.
We'll go back to Mike for a follow-up. Go ahead, Mike.
And just on the role of maybe underdog in the eyes of many, do you cherish that role, Connor? The idea that maybe a lot of people are counting you guys out already, does that motivate you, fuel you?
Absolutely. I try not to look at all that stuff, but I mean, if you want to call us an underdog, go ahead. We'll use that as energy. Any little advantage that we can get right now, we're going to take. That's what it takes in playoffs. Anything. I mean, the last puck, the last tip, the last block, every little play is going to matter.
Go next to Derek Van Diest from Post Media. Go ahead, Derek.
Thanks. Hey, Blake, I just wanted to ask you about experience, playoff experience, and how important is playoff experience? You guys have it. They don't necessarily have it, especially early in a series, in the first or second game of the series.
I think it matters to an extent. I mean, we had to answer this question 3 years ago about not having any experience, and we made it to the Final Four. So it matters to an extent. I think we've learned some valuable lessons over the past 3 years in the playoffs. First and foremost, how delicate these opportunities are. They're fleeting. You're not guaranteed to have a crack at it every year. So now that you've found yourself in the top half of the league with a chance, you want to make the most of those opportunities, and that doesn't necessarily mean just gripping your stick twice as hard. And sometimes it means you got to really enjoy these moments and take them all in. But yeah, I mean, making it to the Western Finals, and I think that year we felt like we were in a prime position to compete for a championship, and how fast that slips through your fingers, and then the next year against St. Louis, same thing. I mean, one of the top teams all year, and kind of went through a funk at the end of the year at the wrong time, and it's over before you know it. And same thing last year, a couple injuries, and you lose in 4 games to Calgary. So yeah, a lot of valuable lessons we learned over the years. Hopefully we can use them to our advantage.
And final question to Ted Wyman from the Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Hey, Blake, how do you like the amount of time between the end of the season and the start of the playoffs for your team? And is it weird when you see all these other teams that are starting their playoffs already?
Everything about this year is weird. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, obviously Vancouver, that situation, kind of put a delay on our division, but probably a good thing for our team. Little banged up towards the end of the year, and get some time to mend some wounds, and hopefully get some guys back into our lineup. So I think it came at a good time for our group. Little breather, and hopefully by Wednesday we'll be healthy and ready to go.